Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SteelFlyers Podcast with your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you. That was the always wonderful and delightful Ronies. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in and checking us out. We really appreciate you listening to the show and being here once again. Do appreciate that. Once again, big thanks to Spreaker for all their help in getting us to all the podcasting platforms, where all you have to do is go to your favorite podcasting platform, Spotify or Google or iHeart or Apple or wherever you listen to us, and type in SteelFlyers, and there you go, and that's how you get it. So thank you to Spreaker for all their help. And thank you, folks, for checking us out and tuning in, and here we go, folks. We are on episode number 33
all right.
of season here, and Steelers make the playoffs, and Flyers are making deals.
Well, yeah. Interesting week.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. An interesting week.
Yeah.
It started off with a snowstorm. Like, they were calling this snowstorm last Monday. And they were like, oh, it's going to be Snowmageddon, blah, 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 blah.
And then we got 4 inches.
Yeah, right? And everywhere else got clobbered.
Yeah.
Right? Boston got a big speck. Even up north, they got 12 inches of snow, in the mountains and all that other stuff. All right, cool, right? So then the next storm, they said, yeah, here comes the next storm. Okay, the next storm is just going to be rain. And, oh, man, has it been rain?
Unbelievable. And wind. Lots of wind.
I mean, it's... Just be safe out there wherever you are. If you're dealing with this big, giant comma or whole eastern seaboard on... Anyway, just be safe out there wherever you are. Whenever and however you are, just be as safe as you possibly can. So, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, your Pittsburgh Steelers make the playoffs with Mason Rudolph under center.
Not only did we make the playoffs, we won against the Ravens with Mason Rudolph. We're going to play Buffalo in Buffalo. When? On Saturday? Sunday,
1 o'clock.
How did we do that? I'm confused because it's like we hit rock bottom and now we're, getting back up.
It does seem a bit odd, doesn't it, when you drop 3 games that you, I guess, didn't really matter if you lost them or not.
Well, it would have been like if we had won at least 2 out of those 3.
One of those.
We may have gotten a chance to win the division.
Right. But no. But even still, we wouldn't have won the division, but we would have gotten at least one more win. That one more win would have made it so that we wouldn't have to be, biting nails and scoreboard watching.
Right. Waiting on other people for our chance.
Right. When you have to do that, that usually makes things a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Texans beat the Colts in the game before the Steelers played, I think that really opened the door for the Steelers, just based off of the record and who was left and who wasn't, and all the Steelers needed to do was win and be in
right
against the Ravens, which they did. And
you imagine, an otherworldly being coming here and going, okay, well, this team is called the Texans and this team is called the Ravens, and I don't understand how it's very confusing if you don't understand football.
Yeah, I understand that. I get you. If you came from a different planet and came to this country, or even if you're from a different country, sometimes you're considered from a different planet and came over here and went, oh, this American football. Oh, okay. No, but it's kind of funny that you say that. But the fact that the Steelers are in the playoffs is beyond my realm of comprehension. They the last 3 games when they put Mason Rudolph in is what turned the tide of this season. Not necessarily when they fired Matt Canada, not necessarily when Kenny Pickett got hurt, but when a guy at the beginning of the year we were looking at and going,
why did you keep him?
You re-signed Mason Rudolph. How much money? To be the 3rd string guy?
It's been that kind of, though, because didn't Chicago have, like, some 3rd string guy, or was it another team that brought somebody up that did really well? And then we have Josh Dobbs, who did really well, and it's just weird.
I mean, who'd have thunk? Rudolph with your arm so average. Won't you guide our playoff hopes? And he surely did, man. Look, let's face it. The game against the Ravens was a slog fest. Because it was raining so hard there, I'm surprised that he threw 20 times.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 18 to 20. In
All
the
right.
rain, in the slog, right? And there were probably 2 passes that were, woo! Which were probably his 2 incomplete.
Right.
And they probably could have been interceptions, both of them. So, all right. Pew-chew! Dodge that bullet. Yeah, but the long pass and catch, the way that they were able to take care of business.
Now, this game did cost us, though.
So that's the sad part about it, because today at the press conference today with Mike Tomlin, T.J. Watt was officially ruled out of the game against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo for this game. And in reality, I'm not trying to, but his best case scenario is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that the Steelers would need to make the divisional round.
We're not going to do that.
Well,
I am amazed we got this far, and all right, great season, but I don't see them being able to
do it for a 4th, 5th, or 6th turn?
Yeah. I think that bubble's going to burst.
You don't think you can pull that magic rabbit out of the hat for 6 times?
No. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel.
Well, let me throw something at you, and this was years ago. But I remember a 7-5 team.
That played all their playoff games on the road?
Well, proceeded to rattle off the last 6 games.
Okay, but they were not playing with a 3rd quarterback. Their best defensive player was not
True.
out.
All right, true. But we did get Casey back.
Okay.
Right, he's back. And we also get Minkah Fitzpatrick back.
Okay, that's good news.
That's stupidly good news. Because those are some of the shutdown guys on our back end.
All right.
That will allow guys like Peterson, like Joey Jr., and the like, to be covering guys. And then you got Minkah back there playing, make sure he gets past you, and, and so that is okay, when one great player goes down, another one comes back in.
We hope.
Well, Minkah Fitzpatrick is coming in, T.J. Watt is down, Minkah's coming in.
Right.
There's been some games this year where they have not had T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
So that just, and we're at the point now where we need Herbig up. It's your time, buddy.
Let's go.
Next man up. Let's go. Your time. You're going to get some reps now, buddy. Because we're awful thin.
Yeah.
So, but this is going to be it, man. Can Herbig step up and be the man and do something, anything? We're going to see. We're going to find out what this kid's going to be.
So have they announced who's going to be quarterback on Sunday?
Yeah, Mason Rudolph.
He is going to go with Mason.
Yeah, I mean, well, let me ask you a question. Who would you start?
I would definitely start Mason. I mean, go with the one that's winning, right?
And this is so un-Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, let's talk about Mike Tomlin for a second.
Well, okay, we can do that.
So it was the end of the half.
Yeah.
And they had a chance to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
And run out the clock.
Yeah.
Did they do that? Which would have been logical. Which would have been a good idea. Which would have made complete sense. Did they do that?
You realize we're talking about Mike Tomlin and his clock management skills and or 4th and 1 decisions and or... I mean, there's at least 3 or 4 a game now. It's almost a point where it's expected, where there's going to be 3 or 4 decisions that are going to be made by Mike Tomlin, whether A, he doesn't challenge a call that he should challenge.
Wasn't there one of those in this last game too?
I can't.
There was one. The guy was out of bounds or something.
Maybe it wasn't this game. Maybe the previous game against no. But I still think that those kind of things are still happening for him, where he should have challenged him or should have made the go for it call or should have taken the points.
I mean, we won, which was great, but it was close.
You know, I do distinctly remember hearing this very same coach saying style points don't matter. And he doesn't care if he wins the game 1-2. All right. I'm with you, right?
Right.
But if you can make it so that it's not that, what are you doing? Right. Why don't you take it? And it doesn't make any sense. So, like I said, it's come to expect these types of situations. Let me ask you a question. Do you think... So you don't think the Steelers have a chance to win against Buffalo?
Maybe Buffalo. There's always a chance that they could beat Buffalo. But after that...
So, yeah, that's the thing that's going to make the road very difficult for Pittsburgh. As being the last seed, you're always going to play the number 1 or the highest seed.
Right.
No matter what you do, no matter you go, and it doesn't matter who you play in the playoffs, you're always going to be on the road.
Right.
So, okay.
It just seems like we kind of limped into this, so... I mean, no, that limped is not the right word, but maybe because we're on an upswing, maybe that'll be in our favor. Maybe Buffalo or the teams we meet are, beat up and worn out, and you never know.
There's a couple players that Buffalo is going to be without. I believe Stephon Diggs is not going to be able to play, and there's a couple other guys on the defense that might not be playing for in this game. And it very well could be. It's supposed to be bad weather. It's supposed to be, lake effect snow. It's not like... And of all the teams, I think, that are more built for that, I think Pittsburgh is with their running game, with their two-headed monster of Najee Harris and the electric meatball, Jaylen Warren. I mean...
Why the electric meatball?
I don't know. That's just the name the 5-star came up with.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was a reason for that name, because I've heard it, and I was just like...
Maybe it was, I don't know if it was any part of his crew or anything over there at 5-Star, but that's what he called him. And when he does his shows, he calls him the electric meatball. So, hey man, whatever.
All right.
I guess that's what I call him now too. But the fact that Najee Harris had a 1,000-yard season speaks volumes of the fact that he had over 100 yards in the last 3 games of the season in a row.
Right.
Okay? So when you put up a good chunk of yards in the last couple of games of the year like that, because the offensive line, oh my gosh, man. Kudos to the offensive line for getting, well, they got 2 angry runs.
Yeah.
2 angry run awards, 2 back-to-back weeks. The stiff arm that Najee threw against Seattle, right? And the week before, the Jalen Warren run into the end zone, right? So they had two guys win it back-to-back weeks. One was the Steelers, and Jalen Warren, one was Najee. So, all right, and then So,
honestly, I think it's a combination of losing Matt Canada and bringing in Mason Rudolph. And it's just, these simple changes, well, not simple, but these changes have made a world of difference. We could have been winning like this all year.
The sad part about it is this. The fact that you had one of the best tight ends in the league only have 33 catches for less than 400 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What? I mean, the fact that none of the receivers or hardly any of the receivers had any touchdowns this year.
We had hardly any touchdowns.
That's what I mean, right? Most of all of our touchdowns came on the ground. You know what I mean? And which is sad, because even Kenny only made 6 touchdown passes, and Trubisky managed 3.
Really? He got 3?
Yeah.
I was thinking none, but okay.
But Mason's come in and has done 6 or something stupid like that in the last 3 or 4 games.
I don't know. It's just, to me, it's hard to comprehend the fact that the guy, the third string quarterback that we have all said for many years, as he's been the backup, that he just doesn't have the ability to do it, is now doing it.
He has the arm talent, but my knock on him is he doesn't have that clock in his head. He can't anticipate pressure to get out of dodge. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to be... he's not the guy to be doing those outs and kind of stuff. He just doesn't have that clock in his head.
Okay, so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
He doing better with that now?
Much.
So how do you think it's just that people he was working with that,
could have been.
He who's the offensive coordinator now?
Well, okay, so Mike Sullivan and I can't remember the other guy's running backs coach, but there's a quarterbacks coach there now, and there hadn't been one there for a while, and I think that is something that you need to have on your team as a quarterbacks coach, a specific coach for the quarterbacks, because it gives the quarterbacks an opportunity to get some coaching, and not everybody's Peyton Manning. Right. Not everybody's going to be Peyton Manning, and when he's not playing football, he's watching hours and hours of film, and he's doing
super competitive and wants,
any edge that he possibly can get. If he can go out there and practice an extra 6 reps, he's going to be out there practicing the next 6 reps. If he can watch an hour of film to watch somebody's tendencies on the defense, he's going to watch an extra hour of film. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Oh,
and an insurance spokesman. Now selling Subway.
Who's kind of the jingle guy. You really didn't like his hat. But has a lot of places. Yeah, I went there. Anyway, I'm riding Mason all day. I think you shut Kenny down and say, we'll see you next year.
Well, maybe that he needs some time to develop where there's not this immense pressure of trying to win games. He's just not ready for that yet.
See, that's the scary part about what you just said. Because the whole thing about him coming out of college was he's the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of college.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's 25 years old. He's going to be 26. You know how old C.J. Stroud is? 22. He just threw for the most yards of a rookie quarterback, the most touchdowns of a rookie quarterback. I mean, what? Big difference when you actually have an offensive coordinator and coaching staff that,
put the effort in and
puts you in successful situations to optimize your talents and players around you. The fact that Pat Freiermuth only had 33 catches for less than 400 yards and 2 bloody touchdowns. That is amazingly disgusting. How do you only do that to... what? Now, all right, yeah, did he miss, I think 4 or 5 games?
Yeah.
But still, he should have at least close to 100 catches, closer to 1,000 yards.
Right.
Closer to 10 double-digit touchdowns. Mr. Red Zone, what? I don't understand it.
Well, we do now because...
Yeah, because that guy ain't there no more. So, hey, all right. All right. Well, I want to throw some things out here real, because obviously this two-headed monster can't continue in Pittsburgh as far as
why not
offensive coordinator, because they need to do their, one of them's a quarterback's coach, the other one's a running back's coach. None of them has ever called, well, one of them has called plays before, but you get what I'm saying.
So, okay, bringing that up.
Could they be good for the job? Sure. But I think they should stay in the positions that they're at as quarterbacks and running backs coach. And I think they should bring in a guy.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
Who would you like for offensive coordinator?
Funny you should mention that. I just so happen to have names right off the top of my palm.
I knew it.
You knew I would, huh? All right. Well, here we go. I would not mind, and this is probably going to be a stretch, but I would like to have Eric Bieniemy.
And who does he coach now?
He's the offensive coordinator. I can't remember for whom right now. He was for Candy when they went to the
Super Bowl. One of the times.
Yeah, this past year. When Mahomes was all hurt and they beat the Eagles by 2 points or what?
Whatever it was.
Right. And he was limping off and on the field and the whole 9 yards, right? Yeah, okay. So I would love to have Eric Bieniemy, but that's probably going to be a stretch. I would actually very much like to see them consider Byron Leftwich.
Really?
Yeah.
As offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quarterback.
Ex-Steelers quarterback.
Ex-Steelers quarterback. Did a pretty good job in Tampa.
Isn't he doing broadcasting now, though?
Anyway.
Hey.
Just saying. Those are two guys that would be the names that I would consider right off the top of my head.
I like the Byron Leftwich option. I think that would be interesting.
I also would like to throw this out there, too. Mr. Vrabel, I understand you're looking for a job.
Ow, my ears.
Would you like to cook in Pittsburgh?
What's the likelihood of that happening?
Whatever we have to do. Excuse me, Mr. Tomlin. You go out and get one of them there 3 coaches, please. If you really want to stay here in Pittsburgh and continue to coach and win games, it would behoove you to go get some people that would you to do said. Because the current crop of people y'all got going on there just having a hard time at it, ain't they?
You are not Southern.
No, but I play one on TV.
Not very well. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Man, that had white mustache and cane written all over it. And I didn't even have to put fake white mustache.
But you do have the...
But hey, so there you go. All right. Steelers make the playoffs. We'll be following that for sure against Buffalo. 1 o'clock. CBS. Check it out. Steelers against
Can I also
Buffalo.
say something about the playoffs? This is not about the Steelers, but how unfair is it that they're putting a playoff game on a streaming service and the only way you can see the game is to get that service? That just doesn't seem fair.
It's brilliant.
Well, I understand the marketing and the promotion of it, and I get that.
There's no marketing. There's no promotion. It's brilliant. It's a huge money grab.
It just seems...
That's just all it is. It's a big, giant money grab.
That's what our world has become now.
Yep.
If you want to see it, you got to buy our service. At what point does the pendulum swing back the other way, where everybody's like, well, yeah, I'm tired of paying for 15 streaming services, and I want to watch one TV and pay one bill? And
see, that's what everybody cable was going to be.
Right, but then cable sucked.
Well, so no, what ended up happening was that cable became the only thing in town, and then said, so since we're the only thing in town, we're going to make it cost an arm and a frickin' leg. Oh, you want these set of channels? Oh, it's an extra $15 a month. Oh, you want these set of channels? Oh, that's another $6 a month.
Right. And now so everybody's like, yeah, I don't want to do that, but now there's, I don't know how, okay, this is just rambling. I mean, seriously.
We're not even talking about the Steelers anymore. So, let's move on, shall we? Since we've spent 26 minutes now talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, 24 minutes and 2 minutes me whining about streaming services.
All right. Okay, I'll buy that. So, ladies and gentlemen, your Philadelphia Flyers have been making deals while Steelers are making playoffs.
I don't think they're necessarily making a deal that they wanted to make, but were forced to make.
That's a possibility. That's a possible way of saying that. So what we're talking about here is this. The Philadelphia Flyers traded their 2022 draft pick Cutter Gauthier to the Anaheim Ducks for Jamie Drysdale and a second-round 2025 pick. Now, as far as anybody on the entire Flyers fan base is concerned, that is like, what? Because this kid, not kidding here, folks, this kid, Cutter Gauthier, just went over to Sweden and won the MVP of the World Junior Championships by putting up 12 points. 2 goals, 10 assists. Right? The United States won gold handedly.
Yeah.
Right? And let's face it, that team was stacked. They had the whole first line of Boston College there with Gauthier, Leonard, and Perreault. And then they had Will Smith there on the team too, and Snuggerud, and all right.
What you're saying is there was a lot of talent on the USA team.
Number 1 draft picks, a whole, 6 of them, I think, were number 1 draft picks playing for the team. Okay, so, but, and I did want to talk about the World Juniors as part of this show, so that's kind of, we'll tie that in here a little bit with what we're talking about here, and congratulations to the United States team for winning gold.
Yeah. Handedly.
The World Juniors, yeah, handedly. They were the only undefeated team throughout the entire tournament. There was one game, Czechia, that took the United States to overtime.
Right.
And I believe it was the 6th round shootout where they were, 7th round of the shootout, where they were able to win the game against Czechia. But they were the only undefeated team throughout the entire round, the whole tournament, the World Juniors. Mm-hmm. It was eliminated. And they never even played in the medal round.
I can't believe that.
Well, it wasn't their best team this year, and the United States was much better. And as they found out, Sweden, who the United States played for the gold medal, was a team that knocked
Canada out.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. So the MVP of the World Junior, Philadelphia's first round draft pick, 5th overall, I believe, traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Jamie Drysdale. Now, let me give you guys a quick little rundown on Jamie Drysdale. He's 5'11", 183 pounds. He's played in 132 games with the Anaheim Ducks. He is a +4. He plays about 19 minutes a game. Okay? He has a couple goals and a couple assists. For, I think he's got 20 points on the year so far this year.
Okay.
He's coming off of a lower body injury.
Okay.
Okay. And in previous years, he's had labrum surgery and a few other injuries. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's young, 21, 22 years old.
Okay.
He's a right-hand shot defenseman, ladies and gentlemen. He is that quarterback on the power play that the Flyers are looking for. So, Jamie Drysdale was a 6th overall first-round draft pick of the Anaheim Ducks the year prior.
Okay.
2001 for Anaheim. So, I mean, a huge need for the Flyers. Right-hand shot defenseman, quarterback for the power play.
Which needs help.
Which, we'll get into that in a minute. But this kid's going to pay immediate dividends. And what I mean by immediate dividends is that he's already been at press and has had a press conference already.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on the 5:45 flight to come to Philly. He got a call from the general manager of the Ducks saying that he was being traded from Philly, and then gets a call from Danny Briere, then gets a call from Tortorella.
Wow.
And he says, "Can't wait to meet you, get your beep here." I mean, total Tortorella, you know.
Yeah.
Right? But, all right.
We'll see. Well, okay,
I'm
whole
excited,
thing...
man. We're going to see this kid suit up as early as tomorrow, potentially.
Yeah, the whole with Cutter is just a bad situation that they made the best of.
So, what do you do when your number one draft pick comes to you on a Zoom call and says that they don't want to be part of your organization? And my reply to that is, well, bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean, if you don't want to be here, then...
Bye.
Right? See? Even Roney said it. What? All right, here's going to be a breakdown of Reed. When he was drafted that summer, that spring, whatever, and he came in, whatever, played at...
Right, Boston College.
Boston College, did really well, and they got eliminated.
Okay.
And now, this was the time now where Chuck Fletcher now has been fired.
Right.
Right? Danny Briere is the interim GM at the time. Says, stay in college.
For whatever reason.
No. And I'm going to say Elliot Friedman brought this to light today on the NHL Network, where he said that owing to the nature of what was going on with the Philadelphia Flyers and their cap situation, because of them being over the cap, they were docked another $1.8 million.
Right.
That counted against the cap. That money would have been earmarked to pay Cutter to come and suit up for the orange and black.
Right.
And they didn't have the cap space to do that. So, I mean, it kind of sucks for Philly, but it's not necessarily a bad thing for the kid to go back to college and look at what he's doing now. He's
right.
World
He
Juniors.
Won the gold again.
He's probably going to play for Boston College. They're going to go to the Frozen Four. They'll have a chance for a national title. You know, it's not a bad thing that he told him to go back to college.
Right.
But that pissed off, clearly.
Right.
Because then that was the end of it. Then he was like, well, then I don't want to come play for Philly then.
Right.
Because it made it, to him, I'm assuming, it made it look like they didn't want him.
Right. There are the other consideration that I've heard is that he doesn't want to play with Tortorella. I've heard that, it's a rebuilding year, and he doesn't necessarily want to be on a team that isn't going to have success. But the Ducks aren't in that great of a position either, so...
Yeah, and he's from Canada. He was born in Sweden. He's from, Toronto, Canada. So, I mean, it's not like he's going out to California because that's where he's from or anything like that. It's not a hometown thing or anything like that.
He's going movie stars.
Yeah, Hollywood and movie
Swimming
stars.
pools.
Swimming pools, yeah, there you go. Woo, showing our age. Anyway. But, so that's the thing, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, and kudos to the Flyers brass for how it's handled.
Right.
Because when this kid came to them and said that he didn't want to be part of the Flyers, and so they have to kind of protect the kid because what if he changes his mind? And now you got to find a dance partner. And not only do you have to find a dance partner, but then you have to say, well, we need you to keep this down low because if this kid changes his mind, then it's, you know what I mean? We can't, we don't have a green stone where we can do the special,
reversing of time
or whatever, and, put the contract back or whatever. No, can't do that. So...
See, this was, I think, an example of the new leadership at the Flyers actually handling a situation well. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good point.
They did the best they could.
With a bad situation.
Right.
Because let's face it, your number one draft pick comes to you and says he doesn't want to be part of the team anymore. Well, that's kind of... that's not exactly a situation y'all want to be in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they got Jamie Drysdale, whom I'm very excited to see come and play here for the Flyers. Very excited to see him come and play here for the Flyers. And we'll see him right away.
Right. We don't know how long. Would it be another year for, or would it be...
Well, it would have been at least till the end of the hockey season for Boston this year.
Right.
Which would have been if they make the Frozen Four and or whatever, end of March or whatever.
Right.
Right, which still would only leave a few games.
If they bring him up right away, more than likely he'd play for the...
No, if he came over here, they would probably throw him in since I think he's ready.
All right.
He's going to play this year, the rest of this year in college, right? And potentially win a national championship, and then I think he's probably going to end up turning pro with Anaheim next year.
Okay.
He's going to be at their training camp and, whatever. Right. So, because he wanted to do that in Philly, and they just couldn't do it at the time.
Right.
And I think that's more of...
Yeah.
What Elliot Friedman from the NHL network saying that it was more because of the cap strap issue, and they couldn't necessarily give a contract that they wanted to get him to play, and they didn't want his entry-level contract on a year where he wasn't going to even be playing.
Right.
And that's stupid, right? So, okay. So I think that's what's going on here with that. So I don't have a problem with how things were handled by the Flyers brass at all in this. In fact, it overshadowed the wretched loss to the Penguins 4-1. What? What, you guys didn't show up for that night?
I don't know. That there was some
Okay.
Bad playing.
Okay. 3-4-3 here in the last 10 games. That's not getting it done here, boy.
We were on such a good streak for a while, and now they're...
See, we're on a 9-game bender now. Right? Where we've only won 3 of the last 10. That's not putting it together, boy. It's only... So, 3-4-3 in the last 10, right? So that's 6... That's only 9 points out of a possible 20.
That's sad.
That's really sad. Right? Okay? That's not getting it done. That's why they've slipped now to 5th row.
Right.
They were second there for a minute.
I know.
But Penguins have been playing better. Carolina's been playing better. The teams behind them, not necessarily Washington, but New Jersey's been playing a little better too. You know what I mean? And it's so tight in the Metro that, you go on one of these little stretches like this, and boom, just like that, you're out looking in.
Right.
So the power play is still a huge issue for this team. And I don't care if you get a Drysdale to come in and quote-unquote be a quarterback. I think you could have made Cam York be your quarterback. I think there was Sanheim your quarterback. I just think there was other guys on the team you could have made the quarterback, like Atkinson or somebody like a forward or whatever. I don't care. But this kid's not going to magically come in and be the key that's going to suddenly unlock power play.
Right.
Okay. And that's what my concern is. Okay. And so we need to do a better job on this, like a different coach, like maybe a coach who actually put some power play goals in the net. Let's try that. So that's what I got to say about the Philadelphia Flyers.
Now, the All-Star break is in soon? Don't they have an All-Star break coming?
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of February, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
So will that be a break, for everybody to get healthy and for, whoever's going to the All-Star game? One person.
Yeah, by the way, congratulations to Travis Konechny to making the All-Star. He's the Philadelphia Flyers lone representative. And they actually are doing it that way this year. One player from each team, that's it. I am shocked. I'm blown away that they only selected one player from each team. That's it.
Poor Bernard can't go because he got hurt.
Fractured jaw. Yeah, he was picked for Chicago, and now he's hurt. Anyway, so anything else you want to ask me about the Flyers?
I think I'm good.
Oh, goody, because some games coming up here that the Flyers need and can win and should win, especially with this boost here with a new player into the lineup, and maybe we'll see a lot less of Stahl and a lot more of this other young player, and maybe on what happens, who knows who's going to sit.
I did notice that Frost had to sit one game.
Yeah, he had to sit a game, and I'm concerned about that because there was an article that came out that said, or a story that came out that said that him and Tortorella had a conversation, and at this conversation, Tortorella was like, "Look, this is what I want to do, and go do it," and he finally went out and did it.
Right.
Well, so you mean you have to get threatened with being scratched every night, losing your job, losing your position before you start playing?
Better. I mean, he was out there playing, but he wasn't playing well.
Like I said.
Or, I'm sorry, he was playing well, getting the puck to other players, but he wasn't making the goals, and you know what I mean?
Chances are all fine and great, but chances are just that, chances. Goals, assists, that's what counts, right? You not being on the ice when the other team's scoring, you be a minus player. No, okay? You need to be a plus player. You need to be putting goals in the back of the net, and you need to be making assists.
Right.
Okay? And if you can't do that, well, then I'm putting you down. Okay? So you mean to tell me you got to be threatened with that? You know, how many more chances is this freaking kid going to have?
I don't know.
Right? We got to threaten the kid to goal. Anyway.
Yeah,
we need to get players on the team that you don't have to threaten in order to get that kind of production out of. Because that's going to make a coach old really fast. If you have to threaten players to hey, man, what, you want to sit? Well, if you don't start putting some goals up, you're going to sit. I mean, there you go.
Yep. So, anything else you want to talk about?
One last thing.
Yes.
So, Penn State played their game.
Their bowl game?
Their bowl game, yep. The Peach Bowl against Ole Miss.
No, wait. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
I'm sorry. In the Mercedes Dome there in Georgia. And they lost.
Yeah, they did not do well.
Did not do well at all. It was bad. It was bad all day long. It was bad. They lost by more than 2 scores.
I know.
They finished the season lower than what they started the season at.
They started at 10.
They finished at 13.
All right.
What?
Well.
But they were 10-2.
Yeah.
And that was a great season.
Well, okay, so it was a good season. They were 10-2, but the 2 games they lost were the 2 they absolutely needed to win, and they didn't.
Even if they would have won just one of them. I'm going to go on record right now. If I haven't before, I'm going on record right now.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Penn State will never win anything with Franklin as the head coach.
I know.
Okay?
Okay.
He does not know how to coach a top tier level school. He's a good recruiter and all that, but when it comes to doing what he needs to do on the field with his team, he's not capable of doing so. And yeah, I know I'm saying that about a guy who just went 10-2, but in the last 6 years since he's been at Penn State, he's only beat Ohio State once.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
No, it's not.
And hasn't beat Michigan.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. They're going to be on your schedule every year.
Right.
Okay? Not going away.
Well, speaking of college football, I have a question for you. Jim Harbaugh. Does he deserve to be...
kicked in the head?
No. We would never advocate violence.
No, we would never advocate violence. He doesn't deserve anything.
His team just won the national championship.
Good for you. Congratulations.
And is he going to have a job, or is he going to, quote-unquote, line?
Who cares?
I'm frustrated because he obviously...
He cheated.
Got
suspended. That wasn't the first time he was busted. He was busted 2 years ago for something. Okay?
Now, the kid that, they actually busted for the, whatever...
The fact that it happened on his watch.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't have a very good relationship, quote unquote, with the Mint of Michigan. I don't even care. I really don't even care. You know what? I hope that the Washington Commanders select Harbaugh as their next coach.
Oh.
Because now you'll have the Harbaugh brothers within spitting distance of each other. Because the Commanders are moving to Virginia.
Right.
By 2028.
Right.
Okay? So, what?
Are they going to be the Virginia Commanders now, or are they still going to be the Washington Commanders?
That's a good question.
I didn't see any clarification on that in what I've read. Because,
I don't think they're going to be the Alexandria.
Well, technically, the stadium is not in D.C., it's in Maryland.
Yeah, I know.
So they're Washington. So would they carry that even though they're moving to Virginia, or are they going to be the Virginia ones?
Who knows?
Maybe it would be nice to have a fresh start, get rid of everything that was, the Dan Snyder area, and just...
Start over?
Just start over as a fresh new team.
Really? Can we ditch the whole Commanders thing?
No, they're going to keep going with that.
No, can we ditch the whole Washington Commanders thing? Really? Seriously?
No, I mean,
seriously?
It makes sense because Washington was a commander. I get it, but...
Yeah, but no, seriously, can we ditch... that's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Nah. Well,
the whole way it came to be, do you know what I mean? Anyway, so hey, how about that? We started talking about stuff that wasn't even Penn State football.
Sorry about that. I got us off on a tangent again.
How about on a tangent again? What do you know? So, like I said, I don't think Penn State's going to ever win anything with James Franklin as their head coach. They may win a couple bowl games and all that, and they may win 10 games a year, and that's all fine and great if that's what you want. Okay? If that's all you care about is the fact that Penn State gets to go to a bowl game, whether they win it or not, just so they went to a bowl game. All right, cool. You accomplished it. You did it well, right? You lost those 2 important games.
I know.
So, there you go, folks. That's what I got to say about all that. What do you know?
We did it.
In under time.
Oh.
How about that? That's scary, right? Well, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of things that are going on right now, especially in the sports world. But as far as the team we're concerned about, that's what's going on is there. But here's what I would like to say, though. I would like to say to be looking to the SteelFlyers.com website, as we will be trying to do some expanding. We'll be trying to cover some more sports like the Phillies, maybe even potentially some other...
That would be awesome.
Other teams and some other... Sports.
That would be cool.
Right? You know, so be looking to expand that. The editor-in-chief has written some Phillies articles, has written... some other things. You got to go to the SteelFlyers.com website and check out all the latest and greatest articles that the Lance Green has written. Also, check out the recently published article by yours truly, Mr. SteelFlyers. Yeah, a little Steel Corner round 2. A little op-ed there about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So just check it out and let me know what you think. You can find us on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. You can also find us on YouTube, the SteelFlyers All Sports Network, and you can find us at Steels.com. You can also check us out on Facebook at SteelFlyers All Sports Network there as well, so please be sure to do that. Also, you can go to any one of your favorite podcast platforms, from Apple to Google to Spotify to iHeart, and type in SteelFlyers, and our name will come up. Give us a 5-star rating, and you'll be able to get notifications, and that helps us, and that makes it all everybody all the way around. You get to enjoy another episode of the SteelFlyers Podcast. Thank you very much for Ronice and all the great information and insight.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. Thank you all, folks, for tuning in and checking us out. We will catch you all on the next episode of the SteelFlyers Podcast. Just remember, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.